All right, guys, so we talked an absolute ton about training, exercise, all these different variables that we can play with to develop these workouts for our guys. And I think this one piece, we all, obviously, working is always the fun part, right? We can go bang in the gym, we can roll with the guys, we can lift weights, we can sweat, we can breathe, we can pummel ourselves as much as we want. And I get it, dude. It's super fun. It's cool. And that's where guys are going to really get the, mental and physical ability to do what they need to do, okay? But we get better, and I think this part of the puzzle is a lot of times mistaken or misinterpreted. Whereas if I tell my guys, hey, yo, you need to take a day off. Maybe their resting heart rate's through the roof. Maybe they just physically, they look like a turd that day. And it's okay, guys. I mean, a lot of these sports are tough, right? It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of time in the gym. Physically and mentally, it can be draining. Much less the rest of life that, we have to deal with on a daily basis. Whether it's our friends and family, whether it's stuff that happens, just life happens, right? But that stuff absolutely affects us physically and mentally, and it'll affect our performance in the gym. So it needs to be accounted for. So when we talk about recovery, guys, this is where you're going to get better. If you can dial this part in, you'll be able to work harder when you work. You'll be able to work more often. You'll stay healthier, okay? So recovery, the number one thing that I see with recovery is stimulating the athlete, not annihilating them. I think way too often these days, just pummeling our athletes and seeing how tired, and if they're not in a puddle of their own sweat at the end of the workout, it wasn't a good one. Now I get that. And there's a lot of, I think it's cool sometimes to do that. Not all the time, okay? If you get pummeled in every single session that you go to, you won't recover, your performance will end up tanking, and you'll probably end up injured, which is not what we want. So in my mind, I always think, what's the least amount that I can do to get the stimulus that I want, right? Because I know a lot of these guys that come in here and train are going straight to the next gym to do their skill training, right? So I need to feather things back and stimulate them, not completely annihilate them, okay? So that's number one. Number two, like we talked about a bunch throughout this whole series, is varying the intensities, right? Throughout the week, throughout the months, throughout the weeks that we're training those guys for their competition, okay? And by varying those intensities, not only will their performance skyrocket, but they'll also probably have a much easier time making weight. Mentally, they'll feel more fresh when they're going into practice. And guys, believe me, we've all had times when we were like dragging ass and didn't feel like going because we're just wiped out, okay? If you can vary your training and learn over time how to vary the intensities and do things the right way, there's a lot to be said for a guy being hungry when they wake up to go to practice, okay? Versus just being floored. So varying those intensities throughout the week, throughout the weeks leading up to competition, and doing that and figuring out what works best for you is one of the best ways to keep healthy, okay? Number three is just time off. A lot of times guys have I don't know whether it's nervous energy or whether they feel like they need to improve their skill set on so many different levels that they just feel like more is better, okay? And we all seen the no days off, it's like a macho ego thing when people say oh, I never take any days off. But honestly, guys, if you don't ever take any days off, mentally, physically, you're going to be wiped out. Eventually, you'll hit the wall, and I've seen it a million times. So if you can just learn how to scale back a little bit, take a day or two off every single week, believe me, you guys will last a lot longer and your performance will improve. Number four is good nutrition. And the food is your fuel, okay? There's sheets that you can download that'll give you recommended, shopping lists and a simple little food log for you guys to keep tabs on what you're eating on a daily basis. But if you guys can get the nutrition piece dialed in about 70–80% of the time, you'll look better, you'll feel better, and you'll perform way better, okay? You'll recover quicker between workouts, you won't be dragging ass as much, you'll recover fast, and get that nutrition in. You don't have to be perfect, but you just have to be pretty good most of the time, okay? So I always say, if you're good about 80% of the time and you eat natural foods, I always say if God made it, eat it. The more we make it and market it, run, Just keep to simple basics, right? And that's a huge piece of the puzzle that you guys can learn more about. So number 5 is sleep. You know, when I was young, I didn't sleep very much. I'd stay up till 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and then wondered why I was getting hurt and dragging ass and all that type of stuff. But just simply getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night is a huge, huge, huge piece of the puzzle. So if you guys need to monitor that, if you're like me, like, damn, I go to bed at like, 10 or 11 every single night, wake up at 6 or 7, and I'm good to go. And I've kind of created a rhythm there. I know sometimes life gets in the way and you're not able to, but just do your best. Most of the time on these things, get them done. The simple basics work, guys, so just use them. And then the last one is just to listen to your body. All this exercise, all the training, it's going to affect people differently. It's not always because that guy's tougher or he's better. It's just sometimes you have good days and bad days. You have good weeks and bad weeks. Maybe some of these other factors were off, right? Maybe you had a baby. Maybe you're stressed out. Maybe you're fighting with your girlfriend. Whatever the case may be, all these factors play a huge role in how you recover and how you perform. And if you don't listen to your system, some days you might just need to take a day off, okay? And you guys can be okay with that because, over time, it's a long road. So hit most of your marks. Do the best that you can. Push through when you can. But when you do have days where you just hit a wall, you need to sit back with your coaches, assess what's going on, figure out what's up, and we'll come up with a better way to help maybe either help you recover faster, maybe scale back your training a bit, but it needs to be pliable and moldable along the way so that you can survive the training and perform, all right? Versus just trying to be tough and gut it out all the time and ending up hurt, injured, and performing like crap. So this stuff all floats and varies together, so hopefully you guys can manipulate it a little and make you guys perform better.